everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at Transform Elements brand new MM-03 Stinger Warrior figure. I just got this today and I really wanted to do a review on it because it's a really fantastic little figure. It's so much fun to mess with. So anyway, as usual, let's take a look at the box first and then we'll get to the figure itself. And yeah, it's nice artwork on the box. I do have the Black Arachnia version. I don't have the Rat Trap one. I had one from Paddy and it wouldn't transform properly, so bless him, he had it back. So I will get another Rat Trap at some point, but he's like low on my list, and I really wanted this one of Scorponok because it just looks so good. So yes, as you can see, it's Transform Element. All the other stuff does have some die cast in it. Oh look, they spelt colour correctly. That's unusual. I usually spell it without the U. Nothing on the side. Good. Here's Beast Mode on the back. Nothing on that side. And Stinger Warrior on the top. And there's some warnings on the bottom. So yeah, that's it for the box. It's a nice one again. So yeah. Right, let me crack him open and we'll have a look at the figure. Right, so here's Scorponok out of his box, and as usual, let's have a look, see what he comes with. So he comes with this really nice manual. It's got the same artwork from the front of the box, which is really cool. I don't know if it's actual artwork. I think it's more likely a picture of the prototype that they've put through a couple of filters, but regardless, it's a nice book. It just says Stinger Warrior, so it's alright, nice, easy to follow instructions. So there's that. He doesn't really come with any weapons because in the show he didn't really have any, he just had what's inside his claws. So you do, however, get this little cyber bee, which is adorable. Look how cute this thing is. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Now sadly he can't use it inside his claws, but there is a little tab on the underside of this, which does make me wonder if they're going to be doing their own version of Optimus Primal. That would be cool, because if they are doing their own version of Optimus Primal, you can plug this Cyber Bee onto his chest, I would imagine. So maybe that's why they've included it here. But it's really nicely done, you know, it's nicely painted, nicely moulded, and I've dropped it because of course I have. So yeah, nice little inclusion. So, but what we're really here for is Scorponok himself. I mostly really like this figure. My only issue with it is what's going on his chest, which I think is a little bit unsightly. I mean, I get it, they were trying to make him cartoon accurate, and doing that in this scale I imagine would be pretty tough. So I'm not gonna bash it for that, because otherwise I think it looks fantastic. I love the colours that they've chosen to use on it as well. It just looks great. It's really nice. So right, let's get in close. Have a good look there. That face sculpt, that is pretty much spot on. I have no qualms with that whatsoever. I think it is perfect. Looks absolutely gorgeous. So we've got some nice purples used. Got a little bit of yellow just there on the chest, or gold really. There's a few bits here and there on the figure of gold. It's mostly sort of grey and purple plastics. The lower halves of the legs, so everything underneath the knee all the way through the foot, that's all die cast down there. But I have to say, they've done a really good job of colour matching that. Because usually when you get plastics and painted metal, you can see the colour differences, and it's very apparent in a lot of Hasbro figures, but this one, that's barely noticeable even on camera, so I think they've done a good job there. And then you've got some nice purple on his feet, and some more gold there, a little bit on the side, see some vents there, and he's got a mess of legs at the back. I couldn't get them quite the way they were. To be fair, they were a bit skew when they came out of the box, when it came out of the box as well, so I couldn't quite get them all back, so I've just left them like that, but you know how they're supposed to look. And then his tail, it's got a nice big stinger at the top there. So yeah, it's really nicely done. I think it's a really smart looking figure. So articulation wise, he's really articulated. The head is on a ball joint, but it's also on a hinge as well, so you can pull that all the way forward if you want to and have it more to there, which is actually probably more screen accurate than the way I had it up here, but you know, it's probably better down there somewhere. So he's looking a bit hunched over, but yeah, due to that you get a full range of movement. You can even have it upside down if you wanted to, if you were that way inclined. Have his head on upside down. His shoulders, they are on a rotational joint here, but this cuff piece is separate from the rest, so you can rotate that on its own. You've got this butterfly joint, but it doesn't go forward, it only goes backward. You can rotate the arms here, they will go in and out. It does have a bicep rotation there. He's got a double jointed elbow with that piece in the middle. There's also rotation on his claws, and you can open those up to reveal his missiles. Sadly, the missiles don't come out, so you can't pretend to be firing them, which is a little bit of a shame, but I mean, it's not a huge issue. It probably would have been cool if they could have just made them to pop out, but you know, I'm not really bothering too much about it. So you can see there, sort of silver, black, red. There's a bit of grey there where obviously they couldn't paint it round there, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. But it's not a huge issue. He doesn't have a waist rotation due to the way he transforms, but his legs go all the way forward, all the way back, out to the side. He has rotation at the ball joint there, but it's not a great deal. He does have a sort of slightly above the knee rotation there. It's got single jointed knee. The feet don't go backwards and forwards. You do get a tilt. It's quite stiff on mine. And you can move the toes. It's mainly for the transformation though, but I guess you could use it if you wanted to. And then there is a little bit of movement on the very tip of the toe. Actually, there's quite a lot of movement on the tip of the toe. So if you needed that to move for whatever reason, you can do so. So yeah, he's very well articulated. And then of course he's got the articulation in his tail at several points. It rotates, or rather it's got a hinge here, 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 here and here. So yes, there's a lot of movement in that tail. If you wanted to like bring it all the way over his head, you can do that if you want to. It's got more applications really in the beast mode, but yeah, it's really cool. I think it's I mean, he can sting himself in the chest if he wanted to. That's how good that is. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So yeah, he's really nice. I think he's really well articulated. He's actually really stable as well, because there's not a huge amount of weight in that tail, but usually when you've got a figure that's got junk hanging off the back of it, it's really back heavy. But what with having the die-cast legs and feet, it's, you know, you're really going to have to push him to get him to fall over. So yeah, he's really nicely done. So yeah, I think this is a solid figure. Right, so before we get to the transformation, let's have a quick look at a comparison. I do have Black Arachnia here, so you can see the sizes, and that's pretty good. I think that's about right. It's been a while since I've watched the cartoon, but I think that is about the size they would have been. What else do we have for comparison? Let's throw in, this is Kingdom Dinobot, who I haven't had a chance to review yet. So that's the two of them. Yeah, that's probably not a good comparison, in honesty. Scorponok would be a bit bigger. So that's him. Let me see, this is the original Dinobot figure. It's just terrible, that thing. Oh, it's just awful. I got mine in a lot of other stuff, so he's missing the tail and the weapons and everything, but I mean, it's just a terrible figure to start with. And I don't say that often with Beast Wars figures, but that thing is awful. But yeah, I think that's probably more to the scale that they would have been. Dinobot's quite a bit larger than most of the other figures. So. And for a bit more of a mainline comparison, here is the Sparkless Bot Netflix one. So that gives you an idea of how big he is there. Right, so with that having been done, let's get to the transformation. Alright, so what you're going to want to do is just start by untabbing the shoulders. So you just pull those things forward like that. And careful here, because these tabs, these little posts, are really thin and tiny. I don't know how many transformations that's going to hold up to be honest. So you want to just get these feet out of the way, and you're going to lift this piece up and over. I've just unpicked his waist. Up and over like so, and that will reveal all of these pieces. This is just all sort of falling apart on me now, but you get the idea. Was up there, now it's down there, and you can just, there's a post there that's going to go in there. You can just leave this sort of hanging, or you can tab that in there if you want to. It doesn't really matter. So then what you want to do here is you want to move the head down, and what's going to happen here is you're basically going to tuck all this around to here. So you want to get that head as close to the body as possible without knocking the head off of the ball socket. I don't know what the heck I did there. Right, so just tuck that in like that. We're going to come back to that in a minute. So what you're going to do here now is you're going to move all these little feet out, like so. And then you are going to untab his waist, and this is all going to fold back, and it's going to tab in. There's a massive tab there. That's basically just going to pop into there like that. So now you've basically got an unfolded, elongated shape like so. So what you need to do here then is you're going to fold up the feet like so. You're going to rotate them at that joint there so that these fin pieces are pointing outwards. Make sure you've got all these feet out of the way. And then the two of these are going to come forward. Now the idea is that these pegs go into these ports. There's one on either side here. There. Now, one of mine will go in, the other one won't. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but we'll come back to that in a minute, because what you want to do before you plug those in is you're going to fold these down. But before you fold all this down, what you're going to want to do here is rotate this piece so it's facing backwards, like like so. And then these pegs here, there's one on either side, just there and there. They're not going to peg in anywhere, but they are just going to rest in here. So what you're going to end up with is that just resting like that. Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they didn't make it so you pegged it in, because, well, I don't know. Right, so the slightly fiddly bit now is pegging these in, and like I said, one side of mine went in absolutely fine. That side, the other side will have nothing to do with it. It will not peg in for love nor money. I don't know, maybe that's just too far forward or something, I'm not entirely sure, but it doesn't want to go in. It will hold in a little bit, but it won't go in, and I don't want to force it because I don't want to break it. Let's see if it will go in. Come on, you know you want to. And honestly, when it's in, it's a bit of a monkey to get back out again. So, yeah, it just won't go in. So it's sort of kind of holding at the minute, so I'm going to leave it like that. So I'll just bring these bits down, and like I said, they don't peg in, but you just need to rotate that up so you've got the claws in the right direction. I know claws isn't the right word, but I can't think of what they're really called. I'm not up on arachnids really. And then you can just rotate these forward, and you just put these wherever you want them, and then it's basically just a matter of unfolding the legs and putting the legs to where you want them. And they're all on ball joints and whatnot, so that's about it. I mean, mine doesn't hold together particularly well because that's not going in, but I might just trim a little bit of plastic off of that. But I wanted to show you just in case, you know, your copy had the same problem. So there we go, that is Scorponok in his Scorpion mode. And yeah, I think he looks pretty good. He's a nice looking figure. He'd be better if I could get that pegged in, but yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know if maybe it'll stand better if you rotate these around. Nah, probably not. He doesn't really stand on the legs, which is a bit of a shame. He just sort of sits on his belly, really. But scorpions are that close to the ground anyway, so I suppose it doesn't make much difference. Really? It's just, it's getting all these to look good. That's what happens when you've got too many legs. Yeah, but he's nice. I think he looks really good. So yeah, articulation in this mode, it's basically the same because it's, you know, it's the same arms, the tail is the same. The only difference here is that you do get these little legs articulated. So basically legs, each of the legs, not these front ones, these front ones are articulated here and here, but the back ones are also on a ball joint, so where you get up and down on these. Oh, actually I didn't realise they moved independently. Okay, so they move independently of each other, those. These are on a ball joint here, and then they're on a ball joint here also, and then they have that same articulation at each of the knuckles, and then obviously you've got the same with the tail. So yeah, I think it's a really nice little figure. I'm happy with it for sure. Once I've sorted out that, I'm sure it'll be fine. But I mean, he's going to be in robot mode most of the time anyway, so I'm not really that fussed. Right, so for comparison, let me just bring in Black Arachnia, and you'll have to excuse the way she looks in this mode because I forgot to bring the bits down with me that fill in the leg pieces and that. But it's just for scale. So you can see for two arachnids, they work pretty well together. So yeah, and I'm quite happy with the way those scale. I didn't transform Dinobot because I thought it was a bit of an unfair comparison. The word just suddenly escaped me. Right, It's not surprising, it's gone 10 o'clock. So, right, so there's Scorponok. And for a mainline comparison, that's the Earthrise Barricade that I have yet to review, but is in my pile, so yeah. So, all in all, this is a really cool figure. I really like this. It's worth the money. I mean, I bought this as well. I bought this from New Age because I thought it was going to scale with my Iron Factory figures, but it doesn't. It's too small. And that was the same price as that, and that is twice the figure that is. It's not that I don't like this, it's just that it's smaller than I expected, so it's slightly disappointing. But in terms of value for money, this was the same price, and it's way better than this. So that's not to say that New Age are bad, it's just value for money. As far as I can tell, this is better. But then I'm a Beast Wars fan, so, you know, that might be, you know, it might just be me, basically. But yeah, I like this. I think it's really cool. So if you are on the lookout for one of these, I would definitely say pick one up. Yeah, it's a really cool figure. What is wrong with me? It's a really cool figure. So yes, and for the price, I mean the size of it as well, it's much bigger than I expected it to be, so I'm really happy. So yeah, right, so that's it for this one. As always, thanks for watching, take care of yourselves, and bye for now.